I have just returned from Buckingham Palace, where I accepted an invitation from His Majesty the King to form the next government of this great nation.
The United Kingdom's political landscape has undergone a significant shift with the election of Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, has introduced a series of controversial policies that have sparked intense debate and divided public opinion. Among these, his decision to ban visas from Islamic countries stands out as particularly contentious, raising questions about national security, human rights, and the values that underpin British society. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. Keir Starmer's rise to power came at a time when the UK was grappling with numerous challenges.
It takes leadership. What I did when one of my team was alleged to have been involved and investigated by the Gambling Commission, they were suspended within minutes.
I was furious to hear about these things. That's why I've dealt with,
including the aftermath of Brexit, economic uncertainty, and a polarized electorate. As a former human rights lawyer and director of public prosecutions, Starmer's political career has been marked by his advocacy for justice and fairness. However, his tenure as Prime Minister has seen him take a hardline stance on immigration, a move that has surprised many of his supporters and critics alike.
And cracking down on the ships that are helping Russia to evade sanctions. Now, we need to be clear, Ukraine is fighting not just for the Ukrainian people, though of course it is.
The visa ban on Islamic countries was introduced under the pretext of national security. Starmer's government argued that the measure was necessary to protect the UK from potential terrorist threats and to control the flow of immigrants. This policy has targeted countries with significant Muslim populations, including Pakistan, Bangladesh, Somalia, and several Middle Eastern nations.
It isn't just what's happened this week, last week in the Gambling Commission. We saw Partygate earlier in this Parliament. The Prime Minister himself was convicted and fined for breaking the...
The decision has been justified by the government as a response to intelligence reports suggesting that these regions are breeding grounds for extremism. Critics of the policy have been vocal in their opposition, arguing that it is discriminatory and undermines the principles of equality and justice. Human rights organizations have condemned the visa ban as an infringement on the rights of individuals.
Defending our democracies against Russian interference and supporting countries like Moldova, who are dealing with more direct threats.
Based on their nationality and religion. They argue that such measures contribute to the stigmatization and marginalization of Muslim communities, both within the UK and abroad. The policy has also been criticized for its potential to exacerbate existing tensions and fuel anti-Muslim sentiment. The impact of the visa ban on Islamic countries is far-reaching.
You're going to have higher welfare under you, and that's why you can't deliver tax cuts the way that I can. And people should not surrender to this.
If there's that much wrong with the system, who's the guy in charge?
Affecting not only those who are directly barred from entering the UK, but also their families and communities. Many individuals who have been separated from their loved ones due to the ban have shared heart-wrenching stories of being unable to reunite with family members for important life events such as weddings, funerals, and births.
That I would govern for the whole country, including those who didn't vote for us. And I meant it. We can only make progress.
The policy has also disrupted business relations, academic collaborations, and cultural exchanges between the UK and the affected countries. The economic implications of the visa ban cannot be ignored.
But look, on the numbers and what's happened in relation to small boats crossing, we're inheriting a really bad problem here from the government who has not addressed this.
The UK has historically benefited from the contributions of immigrants, including those from Islamic countries, in various sectors such as healthcare, education, technology, and finance. By restricting visas,
so we are going to deepen our cooperation on defence and security and on illegal migration, where we are resetting our approach, and that's been central today.
The government risks losing valuable talent and expertise that could contribute to the country's growth and development. Additionally, the ban may deter international students from these regions from pursuing higher education in the UK.
If Keir Starmer is your Prime Minister, all those illegal migrants will be out on our streets. And that is the choice for you. Do not surrender our borders to the Labour Party.
Steve, this is complete and utter nonsense.
On the numbers.
So Keir said,
leading to a decline in the diversity and vibrancy of British universities. The visa ban has also sparked a heated debate within the UK Parliament. Opposition parties, including the Liberal Democrats and the Scottish National Party, SNP, have vehemently opposed the policy, accusing Starmer's government of pandering to right-wing populism and xenophobia.
Done across borders to bring terrorists to justice and break up their networks. And I simply do not accept that we can't do the same with organised migration crime.
They argue that the visa ban is a knee-jerk reaction that fails to address the root causes of terrorism and extremism. Instead, they advocate for a more nuanced approach that focuses on intelligence sharing, international cooperation, and community engagement to combat threats to national security. Within the Labour Party itself,
we're increasing the UK presence at Europol in The Hague to play our full part in the European Migrant Smuggling Centre. We've agreed new cooperation arrangements.
There has been a significant backlash against the visa ban. Several prominent members, including MPs and grassroots activists, have expressed their discontent with the policy, calling it a betrayal of the party's core values. The internal rift has led to heated debates and calls for Starmer to reconsider his stance.
Why are record numbers still coming under your watch, Prime Minister? How on earth can you say it's working?
Labour want more return agreements, which Rishi Sunak took the mickey out of.
Iran,
You can see.
Syria.
Some Labour members fear that the policy could alienate key voter demographics, particularly British Muslims, who have traditionally supported the party. Internationally, the visa ban has strained the UK's relations with the affected countries. Several governments have lodged formal protests and demanded explanations from the British government. Diplomatic tensions have risen, with some countries threatening reciprocal measures against UK citizens.
And the Middle East. That includes humanitarian and health support, skills training, help with job opportunities, and access to education.
The policy has also attracted criticism from international organizations, including the United Nations and the European Union, which have urged the UK to uphold its commitments to human rights and non-discrimination. Despite the widespread criticism, Starmer's government has remained steadfast in its defense of the visa ban. The Prime Minister has emphasized that the policy is a temporary measure aimed at safeguarding national security and that it will be subject to regular review.
The Labour Party's policies will mean all your taxes are going to go up by thousands of pounds. It is in their DNA. Mark my words, your pension, your council tax, your home...
He has also pointed to similar measures implemented by other countries, such as the United States travel ban on several Muslim-majority countries under the Trump administration, as evidence that the UK is not alone in taking such steps.
Intelligence and data, that's why we've put more resource into Europol already. When I was leader of the opposition, went to The Hague to have discussions with Europol to get ahead of this.
Supporters of the visa ban argue that it is a necessary precaution in an increasingly volatile global landscape. They contend that the government has a duty to protect its citizens from potential threats.
And in a dangerous world, we serve no one and solve nothing by turning inward. We have to step forward and lead.
And that the visa restrictions are a legitimate means of doing so. Proponents also argue that the policy is not inherently anti-Muslim, but rather a response to specific security concerns related to certain regions. They believe that the measure is a pragmatic approach to managing immigration and ensuring public safety. The visa ban has also had a profound impact on the UK's domestic landscape.
One thing that we cannot repeat at this election, please do not go back to Liz Truss Mark II with this Prime Minister, because the same damage will follow.
The whole point of nights like this is the power...
The policy has intensified debates about national identity, multiculturalism, and the place of Islam in British society. For many, the ban symbolizes a broader trend of increasing hostility towards immigrants and minority communities.
Leading role, and that is credit to the last government, which we united with on this and have continued that work. But I'm not going to preempt what may happen in the elections later this year.
It has fueled fears of rising Islamophobia and xenophobia, with reports of hate crimes against Muslims on the rise. The policy has also been seen as a test of the UK's commitment to its values of inclusivity.
With a clear agenda for the coming months and the next summit confirmed in Hungary this year and Albania and Denmark in 2025.
Diversity and tolerance. In response to the backlash, Starmer's government has attempted to mitigate some of the negative impacts of the visa ban. The Home Office has introduced provisions for exceptional cases, allowing individuals with compelling humanitarian reasons to apply for exemptions.
My primary job was to deliver that economic stability so I could start cutting your taxes. That is the journey we're now on. So whatever your other frustrations, the choice for you at this election is about the future.
These provisions have been criticized as insufficient and difficult to navigate, leading to calls for greater transparency and fairness in the decision-making process. The government has also launched outreach initiatives aimed at fostering dialogue and understanding between different communities.
Silver bullet, if there was, it had been fired a long time ago. It's difficult, it's hard, it's challenging. But I'm absolutely convinced it's a very...
But these efforts have been met with skepticism by many who view them as mere window dressing. The visa ban on Islamic countries has also highlighted the broader challenges facing the UK's immigration system.
Industrial strategy sitting behind the pure capability question for the very reason that you pose, which is the backfill, the capability when it comes to that. So that industrial strategy.
The policy has exposed the complexities and contradictions inherent in balancing national security with the principles of openness and inclusivity. It has raised questions about the effectiveness and fairness of the UK's immigration policies and the need for comprehensive reform.
I get that not all of you will agree with my position, right? But I'm being clear with you. Sex means biological sex. You have to change the Equalities Act to deliver the security of women's spaces and women's services.
Many experts argue that a more holistic approach is needed, one that addresses the underlying social, economic, and political factors driving migration and extremism. The controversy surrounding the visa ban has also had a significant impact on public opinion. Polls indicate that the policy has polarized the electorate,
to take those gangs down, and I'm convinced it can be done. But what happened today, which was really important, because this is the first time that the EPC has actually discussed this as a primary...
with a significant portion of the population supporting the measure as a necessary security precaution, while others view it as discriminatory and unjust. The debate has also exposed deep-seated divisions within British society, with attitudes towards immigration and national security often reflecting broader political and ideological cleavages.
Standing in Parliament, making an anti-trans joke in front of the mother of a murdered trans teenager. I will never, ever allow myself to be put into that position.
As the policy continues to generate controversy and debate, it is likely to be a key issue in the next general election. Starmer's government will need to navigate the complex terrain of public opinion, party politics, and international relations.
And a sense of how quickly we can get on with that. There are no silver bullets. Nothing is going to solve this overnight. And as I made clear in my opening plenary,
as it seeks to justify and implement its immigration policies. The outcome of this debate will have far-reaching implications for the UK's identity, values, and role in the world.
If you want to end 14 years of chaos and rebuild our country, then that power is in your...
Keir Starmer's decision to ban visas from Islamic countries represents a significant and controversial policy shift that has sparked intense debate and divided opinion. While the government argues that the measure is necessary to protect national security, critics contend that it is discriminatory and undermines the principles of equality and justice.
Statements.
And before you make that choice, think what a Labour government would mean. Can you afford to pay at least £2,000 more in tax?
The policy has had wide-ranging impacts, affecting individuals, families, and communities both within the UK and abroad.
It's really important that I've set out the money that we've pledged to that here today. But I can tell you there was a real consensus that this is the serious response to a serious...
It has also raised broader questions about the UK's immigration system, national identity, and commitment to human rights. As the debate continues,
last week recommitting, and so that commitment is there, but there's no new decision or change of position in relation to the use of the capabilities that we're providing. Thank you, Nick.
the visa ban on Islamic countries will remain a contentious and defining issue in British politics. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, do you support the UK banning visas from Islamic countries? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.